Hello everyone! Welcome to our reading, vocabulary and pronunciation lesson. In this lesson, we will read a story together and then we take a look at the important English words and structures. So, let's begin. Our today's story, The York's Life. Mr. and Mrs. York live in a small town called Marfa in Texas. Mr. York is a retired woodworker and Mrs. York is a primary school teacher. They have a daughter and a son. Their daughter is a high school student in Texas and her dream is to become a scenarist. That is why she spends her free time in writing workshops. Their son is older than their daughter. He lives in another city and he works as a reporter in a local newspaper. The Yorks also have a dog at age 10. Since Mrs. York is still working as a teacher, Mr. York deals with most domestic responsibilities such as preparing food, doing grocery shopping, gardening, walking the dog, etc. One of their most important routines is to come together as the whole family on a weekend of a month. On these weekends, Mr. and Mrs. York and their children have a picnic and enjoy the day all together. They also love to meet their neighbors to have a barbecue. Mr. and Mrs. York's big dream is to buy a caravan by selling the house after their daughter gets into university. In this way, this couple will be able to travel around the United States. At the end of their long journey, they hope to find a good place on a riverside and live in their van in order to spend their years together in tranquility. I hope you enjoyed our today's story. Now it's time to take a look at the most important vocabularies together. So let's start. Retired. Retired means someone who is no longer working, typically after reaching a certain age. Woodworker. A woodworker is a person who's working with wood to create various objects. Primary school. Primary school is a school for young kids. Daughter. A daughter is a female child. Son. A son is a male child. To become. To become refers to grow or change into something else. A scenarist. A scenarist is someone who writes stories for movies or television shows. Free time. Free time means when a person is free. A writing workshop. A writing workshop is a place where people learn to write stories, poems, etc. Reporter. A reporter is a person who gathers information and shares it. To deal with. To deal with means facing and managing difficult situations and emotions. Local. Local means something that is nearby or close to where you live. Domestic. Domestic refers to the things that are related to our home and families. Neighbor. A neighbor is someone who lives near your house. To come together. To come together means to meet in one place. All together. All together means when everyone and everything is in the same place doing the same thing. To get into. To get into means to go inside or enter something. A couple. A couple means two things or two people together as a pair. Journey. A journey is the act of traveling or a trip from one place to another. Riverside. Riverside is the land or surroundings near to a river. Van. A van is a small bus. Tranquility. Tranquility means peace. Now, let's take a look at the important structures of today's story. So, let's start. Our today's first important structure is appositive phrases. Appositive phrases provide additional information about a noun or pronoun by renaming or describing it. We can use past participles or verb 3 in appositive phrases to describe a noun or a pronoun. For example, Mr. and Mrs. York live in a small town called Marfa in Texas. In this sentence, past participle called is used in the phrase called Marfa to clarify the noun town. Our next important structure for today is past participle adjectives. Past participle adjectives are a specific type of adjective that is formed from the past participle form of a verb. They are commonly used to describe or modify nouns. For example, Mr. York is a retired woodworker. Retired is verb 3 form of the verb retire, and in this sentence it is used as an adjective to describe Mr. York. Our next structure for today is possessive adjectives. We use possessive adjectives to show ownership and possession. The possessive adjectives are my, your, his, her, its, our, and their. For example, her dream is to become a scenarist. They also love to meet their neighbors to have a barbecue. In these sentences, her and their show the connection and ownership. Now, let's take a look at comparative adjectives together. We use comparatives to compare two or more things. We can add er or ier to the end of short adjectives and more before long adjectives to form comparatives. We also add the word than after the comparative adjective. For example, their son is older than their daughter. Our next important structure is the prepositional phrase with by. By plus a noun or by plus a gerund. One of the usages of the preposition phrase by is to show the method or the way that we do or achieve something. For example, Mr. and Mrs. York's big dream is to buy a caravan by selling the house. Buy plus selling in this sentence tells us how they can buy a caravan. Our today's last structure is be plus able to. We can use modals like can, could, and be able to talk about abilities. For present time, we use can or am, is, are plus able to. For past time, we use could or was, were plus able to. And for the future time, we use will plus be able to. For example, in this way, this couple will be able to travel around the United States. Each It shows their ability in the future. Thank you for watching our today's lesson carefully. Now you can do the activities to improve your reading, vocabulary, and pronunciation skills. See you soon!